Hey folks, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Welcome to Polkeball. Today we are going to talk about work from home and the future of remote work. What is common between Harsh Goenka, Elon Musk, Mark Zuckerberg, and Rishad Premji, right? These are titans of industry, no doubt, but these are leaders who are not really in favor of remote work, at least not permanent work from home. Yeah. So why did this happen? Because 3 years ago, in 2020, around this time, everyone was convinced that work from home is the future, right? And this is what everyone in the world across the globe is going to do. But today you see 90-95% of the companies are like, okay, back to office. I don't care which country you're part of. Those are the statistics that you will see. Most companies are hybrid at this point, but almost like a very small percentage of them are completely work from home, where you're like, you know what, we are completely remote. You don't have to come to office. You have to come to office once in a while whenever we call you. So those are like extremely rare instances, and these companies are very few and far in between. Now, what do I think about work from home, right? And what is the future of it? Like, I think the way people work, the way companies work, and it is a very important assumption to have, because your life plans are supposed to be based on that. So I'll give you an example, right? Like, where you live literally depends on where you work, but that is not the case for a lot of people nowadays, because if the company is completely remote, they have that option to actually live wherever they feel like, given their legal contract with the company, and work out of there. But if you work at a place which is going to call you like even 2 times a week or 3 times a week in a hybrid setup, what happens in that situation? Your kids, where they study, depends upon your contract with your employer. Okay. Where your parents stay, how often you get to meet your parents, all of these things are dependent on that contract with your employer, with the way your company works, whether it's full-time work from office, whether it's full-time work from home, whether it is like a hybrid, partial, whatever you want to call it, right? If you read about it, like Mark Zuckerberg actually said, hey, you know what, employees who joined Meta in office, and then even if they went remote later on, were way more productive than employees who joined remotely and then joined us, or are still remote. Now, Mark is not exactly in favor of completely removing remote work and work from home, but he believes that people have to come into office, because he's like, if we are going to survive the tech recession, if we want to grow, if we want to achieve our targets, and if Meta has to continue being one of the most innovative companies in the world, he wants people back in office. And somewhere I kind of agree with him over there, so I'll just let it out there, right? Then there are other reasons, like other entrepreneurs, other founders have looked at and said, hey, you know what, I'm not liking this. And one of the reasons is like some people were moonlighting. Like, for example, if you see Wipro, right? Rishad Premji of Wipro said like there's a huge percentage of like the population which was actually moonlighting in the tech industry. And he said like that is cheating. There was a huge furore over it. But the reality is a lot of people were moonlighting. And there were some people also on LinkedIn, I remember, who made a post saying, oh yeah, I'm moonlighting, of course I am, you pay me so low. Like, ठीक है, publicly मत बोलो that you are doing two jobs at the same time, but whatever. That's the average discourse in our country on LinkedIn. Then you have Harsh Goenka. He's the chairman of the RPG group, and he said something interesting, which I completely agree about with, which is like that, hey, you know what, you can work from home, you can work remotely. If it helps you, perform better, helps your life situation better, that's all cool. But if you want to grow in the organization, in the sense that you want to become like a top leader, you want to become someone like who's a CXO, or one below a CXO, a vice president or something, if you want to be one of those people, you have to come to office. You have to brainstorm together, you have to take decisions together, you have to do all these things together in office physically. And I agree with that completely, as I said, right? Like, see, the higher you go in the org hierarchy, work from home becomes less and less possible, unless your company is like, no, 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 everyone's completely remote, then it's a different ball game. But we have established this, and we all know this, like those companies are very few and far in between. And pulling it off is not easy. It's a constant process from the company and from the leadership key, you know what, we are going to keep helping our employees become extremely proficient at working remotely. That is, it takes the entire thinking of the company changes, where they're like, you know what, we are going to do everything remotely and we're going to make it a success. Not every company has that attitude, and not every company can even pull it off, even if they have that attitude, I feel. So most people, most of us, most of you are going to be in office. Okay, hybrid is the future, whether you like it or not. So let's be honest over here, right? Work from home has actually benefited a lot of people. It has benefited parents, new mothers. It has benefited women a lot. It has helped people who are in tier 2, tier 3 cities a lot. And I'm talking just India, right? Like across the world, it's all different. And then you have people who have really missed out because of permanent work from home, or even are currently because of work from home. I would say, if they have a choice, the first people I'd say please go to office would be young people. Like, please, I'm begging. Hey, time hai, life hai to sit at home. Please go out in the office. You will learn a lot. Okay, Kunal Shah of Cred and formerly Free Charge, he said something interesting, where he's like, there is an osmosis, by learning via osmosis is what he used the terminology on Twitter in his long thread. It's long back, 1 year ago ka thread hai wo. He said there's learning via osmosis which happens when people are together in a single room and they're working to solve the same problems together. And I completely agree with that. Boss, you're young, please build some bonds, networking cannot happen just on a screen. You have to meet people. There are a lot of young people I know who just like graduated 1-2 साल पहले, life ने कभी office नहीं देखा है, and they're like, oh, why should I go to office? I'm like, please go there, you will understand. Like, no, 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 we have to commute. Yes, you have to. You're young, please go for it. It's difficult. It never gets easy, right? Commuting never gets easy. In fact, it keeps getting worse. Although our country is going towards a model where public transport is improving across cities, I hope it improves soon. But in Bombay, और 5-10 साल तो कुछ improve नहीं होने वाला. Anyway, coming back, unless the metro is done, nothing's going to happen. But see, you're young, you can do these things, you can take these risks, you can get these diverse experiences in your arsenal, right? So please do that. Please do not think, if you're young, that हाँ मेरे को घर पे बैठना है, नहीं नहीं मेरा घर से काम होता है, I'm not even needed over there. Yes, you're not needed, but you'll go over there, you'll learn way more than you will learn while sitting at home. Okay, your world cannot be restricted only with your team. You need to go out there and learn from other people. If you're in sales, talk to the finance guy at the chai tapri, talk to the HR in like the canteen. Okay, talk to the operations people somewhere while having coffee or something. Please do that. Please do that. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it won't be easy living in a city far away from your parents, but trust me, like once you do it, you will realize you need to be in office to get certain experiences. Yeah, after a point of time, if your circumstances change, your life situation changes, you can definitely be like, hey, you know what, I'm heading back. So if your company gives you that option, an opportunity, definitely go for it. But if not, then hybrid to definitely hoga hi, because most companies are going for hybrid. Yeah, so young people, please, you're missing out if you're just gonna keep sitting at home for no reason. The next is, obviously it's very difficult on your social life. Okay, I put on chat gpt before this monologue, where I was like, okay, what are the disadvantages of work from home? And the first thing it says is a very high chance of social isolation, because that's what happens, right? Like over a longish period of time, if you go to office, if you don't go to office, sorry, and you're sitting at home, it kind of gets lonely. Let's be very honest. Let's be very honest, because see, think about it, right? Like you are awake for like 18 hours a day, assuming you sleep for 6. Some people, let's catch 8, chalo 16 घंटा तुम जागे हुए हो. You're working 10 to 12 hours out of that. 10 घंटा तो एवरेज पकड़ लो, काम कर रहे लोग 8 से 10 घंटा, करेक्ट? That is like a good 2/3 of your day, man. Almost, right? Like 55% or something of that sort. It's a good 55-65% of your day, of your work awake hours, you are spending in office, or working rather. Okay, make the most out of it. Okay, don't make it like a online project. It should not be. It sucks the life out of you. You should definitely work towards making friends. Okay, and you'll be like, oh, I haven't come to office to make friends, I don't go to work to make friends. Like, boss, you're spending 60% of your waking life on that. you better make friends over there. If not friends, at least okay, fast friends. Yeah, you're okay. I guess some of you are too precious to make friends at work. Like workplace friendships are awesome. What's wrong with you people? Like I don't get it, man. Like I'm not gonna be politically correct anymore on this. I know a lot of people who are like, "Ki, why should I be friends with people in office?" Then just shut up, man. Like, did you have the same attitude when you were in school, when you were in college, that you don't want to make friends? How can you be so morose? How can you be so drab? Yeah, I get it. Like some people are introverts, right? And they are like, and here's the thing, right? I spoke to quite a few introverts, and these are people who genuinely would be very happy not talking to people for long hours, and they feel exhausted when they have to deal with a lot of people at the same time. I asked them, what do you think of like permanent work from home? Like working from home. They're like, it's all great. The problem is, even us people who do not really go out looking for much of a social interaction, it can get lonely. Happy employees are more productive. Like a sad person is not going to be as productive. Okay, you can make as many snarky memes as you want about it. Your best work in life, wherever it is, whatever it is in life, तुम कुछ भी करोगे ना, you will do when you are happy. Okay, or at least at bare minimum extremely enthusiastic about it. Okay, and the best place you can do that is when you go to office once in a while. Yeah, by the way, companies that are completely remote also, they have these provisions that you can have these in-person meetups on a regular basis. Okay, because any company worth their salt understands that they are run by people, and people work best when they gel together. Okay, so it matters, it really matters. And don't you folks ever feel like, hey, you know what, I want to sit with my boss and work this out. This problem we are solving, I want to sit with my teammates and I want to solve this problem together. Don't make everything an online video game. Okay, I know many of us do not like bosses. I've had bosses in the past who have been absolutely horrible human beings. Forget horrible bosses. Okay, they have been absolute horrible human beings. In fact, I met a friend's friend. I asked him like, hey, like, are you guys going to office or not? They're like, no, I'm not going to office. He's like, I was like, why? He's like, dude, you know what? They're calling us to office. I'm still not going because we kind of have a choice. I'm not going to office because I don't like my boss. I'm like, but he's still your boss, right? Like, whether you sit in your bedroom or you go to office. He's like, at least I don't have to see his face. So I was like, yeah, when you work from home, you don't have to see that dude's face. I was like, yeah, kind of makes sense. It does. Like when I had like bad bosses, I remember I couldn't even open my laptop. Like I just knew there was something bad which I was going to see in my laptop, and it was just bad, right? Like, and that is when you do not perform your best. So I would say that there needs to be a balance, even if you're doing something like a hybrid setup sort of a thing, 2 days, 3 days in office, 1 or 2 days, from home, it makes a lot of sense. Because see, you can do the creative work, brainstorming and everything when you're together, and then you want to execute things and sort of like that, you can sit at home and do those things. And boss, I'm just talking from a tech industry perspective. There are many industries who are straight up like, hey man, no work from home. Like manufacturing is not easy. You just cannot do manufacturing from home. Manufacturing, there are certain parts that can be done from home, but not all of them. Okay, and see, companies thrive on economies of scale. Companies thrive on uniformity. Okay, so we can't have like work from home for like 20%, hybrid for 30%, and 50% are like all the time in office. Not easy, not recommended. It becomes an operational and bureaucratic nightmare after a point of time. So most companies are going to be like, at least in India, they're going to be like, okay, there's a blanket policy. Yeah, like you have to come to office 1 day a week. You will get from home, for which approval you have to take from your boss prior. As simple as that. And obviously the strictness and of the policy depends from company to company. It will vary from place to place. So that is what the future is. So when you are looking at companies and you are thinking, hey, you know what, think about your industry also. Don't make these weird expectations. Don't have these weird expectations where you're going to be like, you know what, why can't we have permanent work from home when I'm working in say a banking or something of that sort. Because BFSI industry ने सबको office में बुलाया है. Okay, like there's a lot of worry about like confidential data and all being compromised. So these things you have to keep in mind. If you are part of a certain industry, know the reality of your industry, then make expectations. If you go out there with that attitude, nahi mere ko ghar pe baithna hai, ho gaya na, like, aren't you done? Like, aren't you guys bored? Yeah, sitting in half pants and like attending meetings. Like, aren't you guys bored? Ho gaya, like, it was there for 2-3 years, it's done. Okay, like there was this whiplash that we got from the lockdowns. Now we are back again. So, like, and luckily for us, you can't, us, by us I mean like employees, you can't put the genie back in the bottle. Everyone knows work can happen from office, at least certain parts of it, at least for certain periods of time. So hybrid is there to stay. Permanent work from home, I don't think can be done on a larger scale. Smaller companies, mid-sized companies can definitely do it. Larger companies, I highly doubt it. So yeah, depends on what you prefer in life. But I always believe the best work, the best kind of moments in at work happen when people work together in an office. But that's just me, guys. That's just me. Thank you so much. I would love to hear your thoughts about this. Share them in the comments. Thank you so much. Let's catch up another episode of Polke Bol. See ya.